My name is Valerie Jarrett, and I'd like to encourage you to shine on one another. When you do, we're all brighter. Very, very early in my career, when I was still practicing law, I had a client with whom I became very close. And she knew I was a single mom, and so she did everything she could to allow me to thrive, including coming over to my house in the evening so that I could tuck my daughter in bed and then get back to work. And so after we'd worked together for a while, she said to me one day, "You deserve a promotion." And I said, "Well, when my boss decides I'm worthy, he will give it to me." And she said, "That's the stupidest idea I've ever heard of. That's not how it works. You have to go and explain to him, and the worst thing that'll happen is he'll say no." I finally went into my boss's office terrified with little note cards to make my case, and I did, and he said yes. And it seemed so easy, and I realized after the fact she probably gave him a heads up and told him from a client perspective that she felt that I was deserving. But if it hadn't been for Lucille nudging me, I certainly wouldn't be here today. And it taught me a lot about self-advocacy, which is something I think that women are not as good at as men as a general rule. I want to shine on Jordan Brooks. Jordan Brooks is the executive director of the United States of Women. She started out as an assistant working in our office in the White House. She showed how competent she was, how much she cared about gender equity. She really decided to just put all of her effort into doing way beyond what was her responsibility. And so we promoted her in the White House, and then when we left the White House, she said, "I want to own this. I want to run with it." And she commands a room in a magnificent way. I'm so proud of her. I always think it's easier to shine on somebody if you actually care about them. The other thing they have to do, I think, is that when they're in settings where there's shade, they have to shine in a very open way, which means that they have to speak up and support one another. And then the final thing they have to do is they have to be honest with one another. And sometimes shining on someone is telling somebody a hard truth, where they could do better, where maybe they didn't have the right answer. Maybe they could have approached somebody in a different way. And it's hard to do that. It's hard to kind of check one another, but if you do it from a basis of a sturdy relationship, then the person will take that criticism in, I think, a much more constructive way.